Those who expect to reap the benefits of freedom must, and I maintain, I reiterate, must emphatically, like other men, undergo the fatigues of supporting freedom. In other words, it means if you know the value of freedom, you must be ready to make sacrifice. And knowing the value of freedom, that means you have to stand for it. Freedom is the most important thing in life. And like Alice says, I should have loved freedom. I believed at all times. But in this time in which we live, I am ready to worship freedom. That is what Alice said. And this word continue resonating in the mind, in every great mind of one who actually beckons for freedom. Wonderful people, men and women of good conscience, we welcome you back once again to our news digest. This is coming from the desk of Discover Biafra. Here we bring you reliable news across Biafra land, information, things, events, situation reports, day-to-day activities, as well as current affairs. That is emanating from Biafra land, and as well as issues that have to do with the movement of the indigenous people of Biafra for the restoration of the great nation of Biafra that's been championed by IPOB. We do well to try to bring to you the value of Biafra, what we believe whom Biafrans are. And having said that, we must say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your time zone. We will not forget to urge you and implore you, if you like what we are doing here, do not hesitate to hit the subscribe button, as well as to give us thumbs up. You can go a long way to share our videos to those who might need it, because it is very, very necessary to what is going on today in Biafra land and as well as around the world. Do you recall the first clip you watched from the beginning? That is what the situation is right now in Quebec. Quebec is in Canada. The masses, they have decided to exercise their fundamental human rights. And they are saying that the stringent policies of the government as regard to the lockdown, of course, you know what brought about the lockdown, the pandemic that is ravaging across the globe right now. Trucks has made its way to Quebec, and you can see it. They are saying that the lockdown situation that is being mandated by the government is really affecting the people, the economy, the government, and every other thing. That is the situation of things. Of course, from there, we are going to discuss some fundamental issues that is going on in Biafra land today. Of course, when we say Biafra land, you have to recall we are talking about the entire old eastern region of the Geological Republic. But before then, just wanted to remind our people that things that just unfolded of recent as regard to the pig from the creek claiming that he was responsible, or should I say he is responsible for the betrayal of Onyendu, and since the pig have really claimed so, then I bet to some people who are following some gullible minds, those who are working against the OS, their followers, it is high time they start trying to reason otherwise. They should try to, retrace their step and readjust their reasoning. All these baby sabo, feeding bottle sabo, that is carrying a wrong narrative against the DOS, against this hallowed platform of Radio Biafra, saying everything they want because they want to please their paymasters. Now, their followers, if you claim to be wise enough, I think it is high time for you to retrace your step, because everything has come before you. You have come to know that we have been right all this while, because the pig from the creek says that he is involved. And of course, you know the people he's working with. And secondly, since I believe it is necessary that since this Umeri account has been cancelled by Onyendu himself, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, I think at this particular point in time I have to admonish those who were once deceived by this people by this baby feeding bottle saboteurs everywhere. They deceive them. They equally need to rethink if they actually want this freedom that we are hearing. I mean, their followers or those who say that they must follow, they must support and follow these baby saboteurs. But of course, you've seen it. And at the end of the day, the truth will always shine like light. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has reconfirmed it. He affirmed it, that the account that is well approved by IPOB is Biafran Freedom LLC. And of course, it is valid. It is approved. It is being backed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Wonderful people. These are the few things we deem necessary to let you know beforehand. Of course, like I said earlier, we are going to discuss some things that is going on in Biafra land. And when I say Biafra land, I'm taking your mind to the old eastern region of the Zoological Republic, and as well going close to what is going on in Abia State, to be precise, of the latest development that took place yesterday as regard to the accident of truck. The governor of Abia State, Chokezi Bazum, has ordered for the closure of Aba cattle market. That is the abattoir for cattle in Aba. And the question we might ask, or something you might reason, is it because of this trailer that lost control that's warranted him to close this particular market? Well, I'm going to bring to you the situation, how it is going on. According to the published, we have Abia State Governor Dr. Okezi Bazu has directed the immediate closure of the abattoir, that is cattle markets at Ahia Udele Market. This was contained in a statement by Abia Commissioner for Trade and Investments, Chief John Carlo, on Thursday. That's yesterday. Carlo explained that the closure was as a result of the sad and shocking incidents of a loaded trailer losing control and falling into the abattoir located at Waterside River for Bohil. This statement read, all those currently doing business in the above market / abattoir should immediately relocate to the following location. 1. New Omuma Ozo Abattoir in Okwa West. 2. Good Morning Market Aba for those currently in Ayudele. The governor also directed the Ministry of Homeland Security to work with relevant security agencies in ensuring compliance. While we mourn with those who lost loved ones in the unfortunate incidents which occurred earlier today, it is important to state that the Ministry of Trade and Investment had long commenced processes to relocate the markets in line with public health advice received from the Ministry of Environment and other relevant agencies. Let's stop here for now. Prior to this time, we have been saying it, that the situation, the hygienic situation in Biafra land as regard to meat consumption has been poor. The status of health, the way they process their meat, there is no standard measure to carry out things. Prior to this time, years back when we were growing up, at least our fathers, our forefathers, for every meat, cattle that's to be consumed in a public market, it has to be inspected by some inspectors, or should I say, some veterinary doctors, to know how hygienic, how healthy the environment is, and as well as the cattle itself. But over the years, these things has not been there. We have been saying it, that we want to go back to the standard, to the culture of Biafra, whom we are, the things we believe, how we used to do our things before now. I don't know, should I say, if some of them have decided to listen to our voice, and when they have decided to key into some of these factors. But then another thing that we want to discuss, as these things are going on, that Okezie said he have closed down this abattoir. What actually brought about it? Is it because of this cattle? Is it because of this truck that caused an accident? Well, let's start from the beginning to analyze what is going on. You know, since IPOB have announced that because of how unhealthy the cattle that is being consumed in Biafra land, the Fulani cattle is, that we are not going to consume those Fulani cattle because they are unhealthy. And of course, all of us are working to see how we can save life. So there is no point after working assiduously to see how to save life, then we still continue consuming an unhealthy meat. So that's why IPOB says so. And because of the invasion that the terrorists from the northern parts are using their cattle rustling to bring in our land. These are the two factors. Now, of course, if you go to our Biafra land, you know that our people are good in production of pork. I mean, pig rearing. Our people are good as well as in poultry, as well as goods. But of late now, our people have started going into cattle rearing of Igbo cattle. So, what is going on right now? We discovered that, let's specify our disconcentrates in Abia State. This time around, in Abia State, there is a new development that is going on there. There is a cassava plant factory that came to Aba of recent. And you know, that cassava plant is being run by some white people, though they have a branch in Enugu. So they decided to expand to Aba. Now coming to Aba of late, it's not up to 1 year. December they closed down. They winded up. The white man said that they cannot continue in Aba. Why? What is the reason? He said that the tax that they are being billed to pay is exorbitant, that they cannot pay the tax and survive and still break even. So they winded up during December. But I'm trying to drive a point home here. Before now, the cost of production or the cost of feeding of pigs and the chicken, that is poultry, has really grown beyond affordable means of our people in Abia State. They cannot afford to buy feed. They cannot afford to buy pig feed again. So now this cassava plant, this cassava factory is one of the sources by which our people we are going, you know, to attract their source of feeding the pig, because you know the floors, the chaff is what the pigs eat, and it was very healthy, nutritious to the pigs, and it was very, very good. So the company we are supplying to various farmers, all of a sudden the company wind up during December. Why? They said that the revenue that these people are collecting from them is beyond comparison, that they cannot continue. The question is it the Abia State that's collecting the revenue? If it is the Abia State, okay, Zipas, why are you taxing such people every time revenue this that they cannot go out and do their business? That is the reason a huge company closed, a cassava processing company, floor, that you use a backward and frontward, upward opportunities to create industries. So this company closed in December. So that source of feeding animal, goats, chicken, as well as pig have closed. Now, the main part that we are discussing now is there is what is called palm kernel cake. It is the main source that our people are using to feed their pigs. Palm kernel cake is the chaff of kernel, because if you come to Abia State, there are so many companies that their business is crushing of kernel, palm kernel crushing, crush the kernel seed, which they refine it to produce further oil. So the chaff is called palm kernel cake. We have been using it for business to train our pigs for a long time. At a point, it started becoming some scarce, somehow scarce. Some of the companies, like a company that's called Planet, where we used to buy very often, says that they do export it because some companies abroad are using the palm kernel cake, well, that's PKC, to produce biscuits. So gradually, the scarcity came to be in a way. But at a point, we started getting the feed again. But you know what happened since last year, since the announcements, the first announcements that IPOB made. So the Fulanese now, the governments of Nigeria, now they come to Abia State, they buy the remaining ones that we have, the kernel cake, that chaff, they buy it. They contracted somebody who is into the production of kernel cake as well, refining of kernel. They controlled the company. So that company now will go around that state and buy other the proceed of other cake that other companies are producing. He bring it to his own company. So Fulanese will come and buy it. They say they are using it to train their cattle. This is a latest development. The question you have to ask yourself, is that possible? How possible it is that Fulanese are coming, taking up the little resources we have, and somebody who says he's an Igbo person is the one supplying them. So all the pig farmers now in Abia State are running helter-skelter because there is no source of feeding. Are you trying to follow me? How I'm linking these things together? Earlier last year, we had a bountiful means of getting our feed for supply, our feed to feed our pigs. And from that cassava company, by December, they closed down. They said the government can't allow them to operate. They were forced to close down by December. And they are moving back to Enugu. Now, the another source by which we are using to feed our animals, because our people are not consuming cattle again. They now concentrate on pig, on goats, on chicken. Now, the cost of feeding chicken, one bag of feed now is about 9,000 for finisher. A bag of feed for layers is about 7,000. Growers is about 8,000. So how can you feed your farm, your chicken, your birds, and now have some profits? They have caged down that way. Now they have come to the pig. Do you know where they are running? Do you know what they want to do? What they are working towards is by the time they're able to suppress these sources of getting raw material or getting feed for our animals, they want to push our people to start saying, if that's the case, let's stick to eating Fulani cow. That is what the pattern they use. That is their agenda. That is why today you will stay in Abia State. Fulani cattle, Fulani trailer, up to 50, 100 will come to Abia State and pack all the palm kernel cake that we are using to feed our pigs and go back to the north. You'll be asking yourself, what are they using palm kernel cake to do? They say they are using to feed their cattle. At one point, did they start feeding their cattle with palm kernel cake? And mind you that the owners of these cattle are governments, those in control of the power in Nigeria. So they have seen these things. I try to reason with our people that you feel that you don't know the owners of those cattle. They are the senators, they are the ministers, the presidency. They are the owners of these cattle you are hearing today that is causing these issues. So you don't just see a normal Fulani person, you say, they have cattle. No, it is the government, those government officials. And they know the reason why they have channeled their attention in coming to take up all our resources that we can use to feed our pigs. What they are trying to do is that by the time they're able to cage all these things, we will not be able to have feed. We will not be able to produce pig again. We will not be able to produce fowl again. We will not be able to produce goats. And they will still fall back to be bringing their cattle. And they want to place it in a way that they will hold our people. So that our people will be the ones shouting, if that is the case, so let's continue with their cattle. We don't have any other food now. This is the reason why I am trying to sensitize our people. This is the reason. So we are using this opportunity. Please, if we have our brothers, some of our brothers who are in diaspora, those who can establish some factories like kernel crushing industry, like all these cassava processing industries, please come down to Biafra land and do that for us, so that we will have a downward trend of how we can use the feed, the chaff to feed our animals. Because we are determined to produce our own feed by ourselves. If eventually we have people who are into agricultural mechanization, those who can supply, or as I shouldn't say, those who can bring some tractors to Biafra land, so for us to have large hectares of land to cultivate, because it is from cultivation that we will be able to get the raw materials we can use to produce some of this feed. This is what is going on. Anywhere you are in Biafra land, you are hearing my voice, I want to tell you that it's not just common Fulani people that are coming to rack all our feed, sources of our feed. That this is a planned deal. They plan it and they bring it down to Igbo person. Yes, the owner of that company that is going around to buy all other PKC. This company is still producing PKC because they are into canal crushing business. But he will leave his place in Umuahia. He will tour the whole Aba, buy their PKC, then take it to Umuahia. Then the Fulanis will be coming to Umuahia to buy it. So this is the challenge we are facing right now in terms of animal production. Anywhere you are, if you're hearing our voice, please try and share our message so that you will reach to every good and meaningful Biafrans. Where you are, if you are in the position to help us, please try to establish a cassava processing company in our land, as well as palm kernel cake industry, because of course it requires some millions of money, hundreds of millions, to establish such industry, because you have to buy some plants that you use to process them. Wonderful people, we thank you, and this information we are passing across. We are rebuilding Biafra already. Biafra is here. We are doing it. IPOB is doing it. We thank you for listening, and of course we say that it is in Biafra land that all of us have our citizenship, and until Biafra is fully restored, we will not rest. May you remain safe wherever you may be.